Oh, here we go. Hi, my name's Marcy, and I'm so excited to have you all here today to talk about the X39 stem cell activating patch, our review. We are so excited to have an interview today with world champion Jason Fowler. And I just want to tell you a little bit about this man. He has been a world champion really since he was a little boy. When he was 7, he started competing in motocross and he became a champion there. And then at age 16, he hit a rock and he crashed and he became paralyzed from the chest down and his life changed dramatically. But it didn't stop him. Today, he decided, I'm a competitor. I've always been a competitor, and he is a world champion. He has competed in 150 road races, 40 marathons, 41 triathlons, 16 Boston marathons, 6 Ironmen in Hawaii, world champion in 2 of those. He was, Mariah Thomas Wolf shared the X39 stem cell patch with him 2 months ago, and he's had some pretty amazing results. As you know, he competes, and so it's at high level, but he also has lots of things with his body that he has to worry about given that he is paralyzed from the chest down. And so we're so excited to hear from him what the X39 stem cell patch has done for him. And I want to thank Mariah Thomas Wolf 2 months ago to reaching out and sharing it with him. And of course, Mariah has been a good friend of mine for a decade. She, before being a network marketer, she was a principal. She ran schools. And she has built residual income after that for about 5 years. And she is one of my biggest builders in this business. I also want to introduce Peter No. Peter No, 6 months ago, I asked him, hey, what do you know about stem cells? And the rest is history. Peter and I have been friends for a decade, and Peter is a professional network marketer, one of the biggest domestically and internationally. He has built 3 residual incomes. One right now is over a $10 million income. And with LifeWave, in just 6 months, he's already built 3.5 million. So Peter, I would just love to know, like, why stem cell? And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the product, and then Mariah will interview Jason for the last 20 minutes. So with that, Peter.
Thank you so much, Marcy, for that lovely introduction. And thank you, everyone, for getting on this awesome webinar on this Monday night with us. And just like Marcy said, I've been in the industry for over 15 years. I want to let everyone know I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I just learned how to become a professional network marketer. But because of that industry, I've had to the pleasure or the privilege to leverage a lot of my skills through relationships and to meet a lot of doctors, meet a lot of scientists, and really just learn from them in the last 15 years. What is the trend? What is, the newest technology? And I've been blessed to be in front of a lot. Literally the antioxidant trend, the blood circulation trend, the water trend. But this time around, when Marcy came up to me, it's a little bit over 7 months ago, and she just asked me, Peter, what do you know about stem cells? I actually knew a lot about stem cells because a lot of these doctors wanted me to sell it for them. But I knew that it was, you had to get it injected into you. I know a lot of my friends, they travel very, very far to get the injections. Plus, I know that it was very expensive. I know a lot of my friends paid a lot of money for it. I know it works. Otherwise, people wouldn't get it. But I just knew that. But I just didn't. I couldn't market it in a sense because it wasn't in the network marketing space. But I always wanted to sell it. And she piqued my mind. And when Marcy said, Peter, I found something, literally the first non-invasive stem cell activation patch. And because of that, I was like, wow, send me the information. Long story short, I had it on. She gave me a handful. I tried it on the second day, my eyes just lit up. This is not glasses for reading. This is like literally EMF protectors now because I'm on the screen so much, but I don't need glasses, but my eyes just like lit up. My sleeping, my energy has been off the roof. I've been just having, it's just a whole new regeneration repair. And in the last 7 months, really, the reason why I know this business and this technology works is because we're just growing so fast. And Marcy will get into more of how we're growing this and what we've done in the last 7 months. But all I can say is it's been life-changing. It just landed on our laps. And Marcy, I want to pass it back to you. But before I pass it back on to you, I want everyone to really understand who Marcy is. We've been business partners for over 10 years. We started off in the same company that we had our claim to fame. And, you know, she has developed a team, literally a worldwide organization that does tens of millions of dollars in sales also. And even in the last couple of years, I've seen her grow so much. And it's like we're both going to college together. But now in the last 6 months, just building what we had, it's been amazing. So Marcy, I just want to say thank you so much for asking me, what do you know about stem cells?
I'm so glad I did, Peter, because, you know, we've both built big businesses in the past, but there was something special about this patch because it works. And I will tell you that we started this only 6 months ago. And, you know, the company was doing before the stem cell patch about $50 million a year. And in February alone, we did 10 million. That means that we have grown in a year. We're going to double in size. And Peter and I just happened to start sharing this right in momentum. And it's just been beautiful. And so let me tell you how the patch works. So this is the stem cell X39 patch. It comes in a sleeve like this. You get 30 of them. And basically this is organic crystal. And when you put the patch on your skin, we emit light. We are light beings, and the light of your skin creates a frequency, and it tells your body to elevate something called GHK copper peptides. And when that elevates, something really special happens. You activate your stem cells, you create more stem cells, and you make those stem cells younger. So what do I mean by activating? Activating means to mobilize. So I like to use this story or this example. So your children, your grandchildren, they're young, their stem cells are mobilized, they're still working, they're under 30, because by the time you're 30, you lose 50% of this ability. So they're walking down the street and they sprain their ankle. Their juicy pluripotent stem cells mobilize and go down to fix the wound. And that pluripotent stem cell can turn into any cell your body needs to repair. And it does that. But now let's think of my father, who's 86. He walks down the street and sprains his ankle. By the time you're 60, you've lost almost all your activity. So he's 80, he's lost it all. And when his stem cells go down to fix, the army's just tired. It doesn't march anymore. And they're not those young pluripotent stem cells anymore. And they're not turning into what he needs to repair. And so he has a really hard time repairing. That's why now he's walking with the dog with a walker, because if he falls and hurts his hip, it could kill him. It may never repair. So that's what this means. And then more of these stem cells, and they are younger. So David Schmidt, who is the owner, CEO, and inventor, he has been with this company, owned this company for 15 years. It's privately owned, and he calls the shots. He has a lot of different patches, but this patch is only about 1 year old. And if you look, X39, it took him 39 times to find the right frequency. And what he says is that when you put young stem cells on old tissue, you turn the tissue young again. He says we are not anti-aging, we are age reversing. He says we are repairing the cells and we are regenerating the cells. He says by the time he says in the 50s, they used to think that cells had to get old and die, but there is new thought. You can repair and regenerate cells, and they don't have to get old and die. They can regenerate. And he says that we could live easily to 150, our kids to 200. He also says that we are moving away from biologicals, which would be injections, vaccines, pharmaceuticals, and we are moving into frequencies. And this is a healthy, positive frequency that mobilizes young stem cells in you. Again, there's negative frequencies. You've seen, don't get too close to a microwave. Radiation's not super good for you. The radiation from your cell phone's not super good for you. But what David has created is frequencies that actually are healthy and help us. So about 6 months ago, Dr. Rhonda Donahue shared this patch with me, and I started wearing it. And the way you wear it is you put it right here below the back of your neck, right at the base, between your shoulder blades, that bone right in your neck. And you wear it 12 hours on to activate, and then you throw it away, and you let your body repair for 12 hours. And then you put your next one here. That's really the start of your spinal cord. The other place you can put it is right below your belly button, and that's where your immune system is housed. This is photobiomodulation, light therapy. So remember, you need to wear it 12 hours on to activate. It's like a light. You turn it on and off, on and off. If you keep it on for 24 hours at a time, it's not as effective. So it's really important that you turn it on and off. You can wear more than one at a time, as long as you take it off every 12 hours. And think about it. We go out in the sun all the time. In California, it's 80 degrees today. And when we go out in the sun's frequency hits us, and our body creates vitamin D. It's the same concept. It's frequency based. So anyway, I started this 6 months ago, and I'm recovering from breast cancer. I've been on chemo and radiation. It's been kind of a rough couple years. And what I noticed is the first 2 days, the metal taste came out of my mouth. Day 5, really soft skin. Day 10, emotional balance. The PTSD that I was dying of cancer was gone. And just now, it's been 6 months, just 2 weeks ago, all the bacteria came out of my back from chronic UTIs, which completely and totally blew me away. Not to mention, I don't know, some of you that have been on it for 6 months, look at Peter's hair and skin. Like, we really have this long hair and this really glowing skin. I mean, we took it because we wanted to feel better, but it's really fun to kind of feel like hot again, or just feel good. So with that, I'm going to introduce to you Jason Fowler, and we're going to start with a 4-minute video about who Jason is. Jason, why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself?
There we go. Hi guys, thank you so much for having me. Thanks for the introduction, and Peter and Marcy, and it's a great start. So I have just a short video I want to show you guys, and it tells a little bit more about my story, and I wanted to tell you what my experiences are with X39, and I'll let Mariah sort of walk me through a little process. But first, let me just screen share here and show you guys the video that I have. Let's see here. Okay.
Is it? Okay.
There we go.
When I was 17, had an accident on my motocross bike and was out practicing. Hit a rock in some grass and it sent me flying. I landed straight down on my head and instantaneously lost feeling. Being in the hospital, and all of a sudden the physician comes in. We've got good news, we've got bad news. The bad news is you're never gonna walk again. The good news is people with your circumstances, they lead normal, active lives. And I'm thinking, what does that mean? The first time I got in a racing wheelchair, it was the first time that I felt free. It was the first time that I forgot about my accident. I forgot about the previous 6 months where heartache and crying and, I won't say depression, but just a really challenging time. And for me, jumping in a racing wheelchair, the first time was just blissful. Racing was the one thing that allowed me to forget about my accident, forget about what I couldn't do and focus on what I could do. And I was a horrible wheelchair racer to start. I mean, horrible. For me, that was an amazing and huge challenge to sort of overcome and to tackle. And it made me forget everything that I didn't have and got me excited about life again. I've been to 5 Ironman World Championships, and what keeps me going and what keeps me continuing to push is that every year and every cycle of training is different for me, so it means something different. And I'm a different person every time that I do it. When I first started triathlon, all I wanted to do was win. All I wanted to do was qualify for the World Championships and win the World Championship. And then slowly over time, I won. I went through a lot of challenge, but I won. And then I got to winning and really felt empty. Felt like, is this all that it's all about? And then did a lot of self-work and self-discovery to find that there's a lot more underlying why I was doing triathlon and what that was all about. And really allowed me to find myself in a way that guided me on life's journey in a unique way. Everybody in life is going to have challenges, and it's really how you look at those challenges that either makes or breaks your life. And all of our experiences and all of our lives are just a collection of experiences. And so if you can look at it in a positive light, it's just so much more powerful. So I quit my corporate job after 16 years and decided to start coaching. And I think really, for me, it was a calling that I knew I always wanted to help others and share what I've learned, starting as a teenager and having coaches and people that challenge me and push me outside my comfort zone. A lot of us are in this middle zone of never really achieving and never really failing. And I want more people to achieve and I want more people to fail. And I feel like we're all here and we all have gifts to give. And I think just being open to failing and achieving just makes us feel alive, and I want more people to feel that in their lives.
That was wonderful, Jason. Thank you. The music too. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jason. This is Mariah. Here I am in Homer, Alaska, beautiful Homer, Alaska behind me. Ketchimak Bay in the mountains. And just watching you, going through your training with that music, just every time I hear it, and watch that, it makes me tear up. So thank you for sharing that. Is there anything that you'd like to add to your story? I'm particularly interested in knowing what your life was like before your accident.
Yeah. I think the things that stand out for me as being a kid, I was 17 years old when I had my accident, but before that, it was really about, my family was really close. I had really great, amazing parents and a brother and sister, and I spent most of my time racing motorcycles. I mean, literally, I got a bike when I was 6 years old and started racing when I was 7. So we raced 40 weekends a year, every year, and traveled all over the country. And so that was my life. It was sort of always pushing myself and always wanting to be better at whatever that was. But I was really, I would say, outside of that, I was a pretty normal kid and, went to school and did all those things that everybody else did. But I just had something inside of me, I think, that always wanted to push myself regardless of what that was. And, as you know, that life has a way of an interesting way always of throwing stuff at you that you can either handle or you just never know, right? You never know what's going to happen. And being 17, obviously that surprised me.
Wow. When I think about what you said in the video about embracing not only all of your successes, but also your failures, really makes me feel humble, I guess. And because I've had so many failures and yet I've had so few successes, but when I do have the success, I have built on those failures to make myself successful. And so my next question to you is, after the accident, what made you decide not to give up instead and instead become a world champion? I mean, you went beyond those initial years of 40, what'd you say, 40 times a month you were competing? Wow.
Yeah, 40 times a year that I was competing in.
A year, okay.
40 weekends, basically, yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's been a deep dive over several years, I think, to really uncover what that was for me. And I think first thing was just my parents really instilled that I had a choice. When I was in the hospital, my mom said to me, she said, this is about a week in, or actually not even a week, maybe four days in. And she said, we're going to let you feel bad for yourself for the next week or two. And then we're going to get on with it and get out of this hospital. And so that set the tone. And if that gives you sort of an indication as to like what it was like as a kid, there wasn't an opportunity. There wasn't even a question of if I'm going to feel bad for myself. It just wasn't in the card. That just wasn't an option. And I think when you have that mentality, you just sort of move on. And that doesn't mean that I didn't have my struggles and being a teenager and figuring out how to, put my pants on again. And I mean, just, simple things. I was having my brother that's 3 years younger than me pull my pants up. I mean, I joke about that now because I think it's funny to have your younger brother pull your pants up. But that's the thing that I would struggle with, just the most basic things. And so you start to appreciate things just in an entirely different way. And so, in a lot of ways, I was lucky that happened. I have a new perspective. I've met amazing people. I've been on this journey of competing and pushing myself. And yeah, I still have my bad days, but really my bad days have nothing to do with my accident. Typically, I mean, sometimes I do, and I have health struggles from time to time, but for the most part, it's just life challenges. And I think we're all dealt that.
I kind of went through a little bit of that when I broke my femur. When I had broken my femur, I like couldn't even like put myself into a chair or get off the bed, and people had to help me. And it was a process, and I was, a competitive dog musher, and it was very difficult for me to realize that I may not be getting on a sled again to compete, but I keep pushing myself and I get out there. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
So for you, what does competing look like for your body and your mind?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a great question. Well, first, I wanted to sort of add too that I don't think you have to do an Ironman. I mean, you saw that I race Ironmans and I've been sort of a high performance, but I think everybody has their Ironman, and that just may mean your day. That just may mean getting through your day, getting up, putting clothes on, eating, working a little bit, or walking the dog, or whatever that may be for you. Everybody has their Ironman, and being the best of whatever it is that you can be. For me now, it's competing and trying to compete at a high level. I'm 46 now, and so I'm at that point now where people keep saying to me, well, you're not getting any younger. And I keep saying, well, everything that I do has nothing to do with age. But at the same time, I have it in the back of my head, and this sort of lends into X39, which we'll talk about, but it's I do everything to try to stay young and stay healthy and do my best in that regard. And so sort of mentally and physically, I'm always pushing myself. But that being said, you can't always push yourself, right? You have to be aware that your body can only take so much, and you have to treat it with respect and exercising. And so my routine what I'm training for Ironman is anywhere from 15 to 20 hours a week of exercise time only, and I'm eating really well. I'm mostly plant-based and vegetarian. So, again, it's really, for me, it's not only training the body but training the mind, and over time you figure out how you work, right? What gets you out of bed in the morning when the alarm goes off, or what gets you to the pool, or get you out going for a walk, or whatever that is, whatever your training method is, to be better. I think for a lot of people, it's just starting, right? It's actually just getting on the website and signing up for X39 or whatever it is. But the toughest thing is just starting. And for me, I've found a way to just make that a natural thing for me. I just do it. And that doesn't mean I haven't done my other struggles with other things, but that for me, I've figured out. So yeah.
So what made you decide to start and try the LifeWave X39 stem cell activating patch? What was it that intrigued you and got you motivated to try it?
Yeah, so 3 years ago, I had some health issues, and I knew about stem cells, but I had some health issues, and all my searches came up. It just said the best thing you can do is improve your stem cells to improve your body and improve recovery and help heal your body. And I thought, wow, okay. And so I actually went to Panama and got stem cells, got umbilical cord stem cells, and I paid thousands of dollars for that, and I had some results, and I went for basically a full body injection where they put it into your bloodstream, and then 6 to 9 months later you sort of see some benefits or not, and it was for my immune system, and I saw some increase in energy, and my skin was better, and I saw some things, but I also spent thousands of dollars and spent all this time, and then ironically enough, I hurt my shoulder last year racing, and or actually out cross country skiing of all things, and so I'm, my shoulders are my knees, right? So it's really important. And so I hurt my shoulder, and I went and got stem cells injected. And again, I paid thousands of dollars for this to happen. And I saw results right away. And this was just after, and I was sharing it online, and what's how you, Mariah, you saw that of my interest in stem cells, and you're like, well, I have this amazing product. And I was like, no. I was like, and you told me a little about it, and I heard about the price, and I was like, really? I was like, that's even possible. And I knew you from previous worlds, and I was like, well, she's not gonna lie or whatever. I'm like, absolutely, let's try it. And right away, I just knew that, first of all, that stem cells, there's nothing more powerful in your body to help it, heal it, make you more healthy, give you more energy, all those things. I was like, if this works, like, absolutely. And I tried it, and the very next morning, I was like, oh, I have a little more energy. My shoulder feels a little better. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. My hands don't hurt. I've been training for 3 weeks in Arizona in the hot sun in all of the month of February. And I normally, when I wake up in the morning, I have like tight, stiff hands. And I was like, that's gone. I was like, that is weird. I was like, is that just a coincidence? And I took it again the next day. And it happened again. And I was like, no. And I was like, what, a $3.50 or whatever it is a day patch is gonna like do all this? And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I called you, I remember, or texted you after like a day, and you're like, yep. And you started telling me like, hundreds of other, whatever it was, 5 other stories of how other people were responding just as well. And it blew me away. And I just thought, I just kept hearing, well, if you keep it on for months, you can imagine how much that's gonna help. So I'm 2 months in now. Well, the other thing that happened is a week after that, I burnt the bottom of my foot, and an infrared sauna, and that this giant welt on the bottom. And if you know anything about spinal cord injuries, below the level of injury, we have to really take care of our skin, and it's a real struggle for people with spinal injury. And so normally that would take me maybe a couple months to heal the bottom of my foot, and within about 2 weeks, it was gone. And I'm going, you got to be kidding me. Like you just can't even, and also the little scars that I had on the side of my foot or my ankles that I always have from throwing my legs around, getting in and out of my hand cycle, they were all healed up. And I'm going like, what is happening? And so I was blown away, and I've just, it's been 2 months now, and I definitely noticed my skin is different. It's definitely more soft. My hair is definitely different. And I don't know, I continue to get stronger. So yeah, I'm just loving it at this point.
So my last question to you then is, how do you see moving your X39 business using your influence? Because obviously you have a following, being a champion and having done this for so long, and being involved in working with younger children too. I know that you mentioned that's part of your focus.
Yeah.
So how would you support your team to build residual income for everyone? Like, where do you see this going for you business-wise?
Yeah, first of all, having that it works so well, I just believe in the product. And so that for me was the very first step, was just getting that part. And I told you, I was like, I want to just see it work first and have my own testimonial as to what that is. And I've already shared it with family members, and my dad's like, why is my knee not hurting anymore? I was like, you got to be kidding. That's just how it goes. Right. And so for me, and I just started coaching as a mindset coach for younger adults in high school and college, and also some adult stuff. And so what I look at it as is sort of an adjunct to that, in that I'm wanting to help others. And so this is, for me, is just being able to share the product with others, because obviously it works. And so that's a no-brainer. And so having that, but also using you, Mariah, like as my person that's above me, and helping me to, once I have leads and once I have people that are interested, to really pass them off to you and use that. And really, because I know that I can't do any of this on my own, just like my racing career. I can't do it on my own. I've got to I need a team behind me. And that's where I think, LifeWave comes in, and all the support they give us, and then also you, Mariah, and Marcy, and so, yeah, so that's for me, is just being able to share it in an authentic way, that, hey, a lot of people are struggling with the same things that we are. Again, you don't have to do an Ironman to know that, or to feel that every morning when you wake up. And so, yeah, I'm super excited about the future.
And just one real quick question. Somebody had a question and wanted to know, where do you place the patch? Do you place it wherever you feel you need to that day, or do you have a go-to location?
Yeah, so when I first started, I was putting it on my shoulder, and actually, I don't know if you can see it now, but I have it on the back of my neck. Now you probably can't see it here. But anyways, I put it on the back of my neck now. And but if I have any other little aches and pains, I've put it, actually, I guess I've only put it on my shoulder at this point. And I didn't notice a big difference between on my shoulder or my neck. So yeah.
Well, thank you, Jason. Thanks for coming on today. And I loved hearing your story and watching the video again. And Marcy, I'll bring it back to you.
Jason, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's incredible. I mean, everything you've been through, a world champion, and he has things happening to his body, and that the X39 patch like worked in a day. I mean, it works. And I mean, I know that, I bet you that those stem cell injections were $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, and this was less than a cup of coffee in one day. Okay. I mean, it's super cute. And know that, there's a lot of people on this call, they're influence, or they're workers. Like, we all work together as a team. Like, Jason has a huge following. He's an influencer, but he's busy. But what can Mariah do? She can work right behind him to help duplicate his influence. Dr. Harmon's the same way with Savvy. So know that we all need each other, right? And what's really happening is the patch works. It works. So what does it cost? You can get a sleeve like this. It's a 30-day supply for retail at $149. And if you want to try a month's supply, get with the person who brought you here and say, hey, I want to buy a month's supply. And you can just go to their website and hit buy. Or you may want it wholesale. We like the silver pack, which is 3 sleeves, which is a 3-month supply, because you really do need to give this 90 days to get it in your system. And here's the thing. There is a 30-day money back guarantee. So you can wear even more than one. And at day 25, you can get a full refund. That silver pack is $2.99. And you can get with the person who brought you here and say, hey, I want that. And you can go to their website and click join. Or you can do what Peter and I did. We upgraded to the diamond pack, and that's 19 of these sleeves for $1,600. It gives you your sleeves at $84 a sleeve. You can make a little more on the compensation plan, and it makes you active for 3 months to do the business. And here's what we figured. we figured that this is a gifting business. Did you hear, Jason? I already gave it to my dad. He put it on his knee. He's like, my knee pain's gone. Crazy. Well, what do? We gift. We put them in these little envelopes and we gift. When I got my sleeve 6 months ago, what did I do? I only had 15 of these and I gave Peter 5, and look what's happened. So know that if you want to get a diamond pack, have the sleeves to gift and start your business. Once again, get with the person who brought you here and say, hey, I want to try the diamond pack for $1,600, and you go to their website and hit join. If you have more questions or want to understand more, great. You can go to startx39.com. That's startx39.com. There's a 3-minute video on how the patch works. There's a 20-minute science video by our inventor, David Schmidt. You can see how it works in writing. You can see the research. You know, we have 80 patents and 100 studies. You can go right there and look at that. You can remind yourself on how to wear it. It's a wealth of information. So with that, that is how it all works. I thank you so much for coming tonight. It is 6:35. We like to be done in 30 minutes. Jason, thank you so much for your story. We just so appreciate you and that you decided to spend your valuable time with us. And we're so glad Mariah said, hey, try the stem cell patches. So with that, lots of love to all of you, and good night.
Good night. Thank you, Jason. Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
Mariah.
Have a great night.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody. Thank you, Marcy. Jason, that was awesome.
Bye, Ashley.
Good night.
Bye.
Prosper.